You just gotta love a good fantasy debut. Hey everyone, welcome back to Andrew's Wizardly Reads, and as always guys, I am Andrew, and today I have got a book review for you. Essentially, this is going to be my book review for The Blood of the Spear by Mark Timoney. This is book 1 in the Eye of Eternity series. Now, I don't know how many books are currently being planned in this series. However, I do know that there is a sequel coming within, I think, the next 12 months. This was sent to me by the author and very kindly personalized for a honest review. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So I immediately started this book. Guys, this is, I'm gonna come out right out and say it. This is a very, very strong fantasy debut from Mark Timoney. One of the strongest selling points I can give you is, I did my Goodreads review already. And in that review, I kind of mentioned that, like, what's the best way to describe the prose and the story? And for me, that was like, imagine if Steve Erickson rewrote The Eye of the World. And specifically, that's because Mark is a huge Wheel of Time fan, but also he does a lot of the epic stuff that just Erickson does. There is an entire glossary in the back here just on pronunciations and things of that nature, which I highly suggest that you use if you get the physical copy, because it definitely does help. This is literally just a coming-of-age story, a traveling group. There is a lot of inspiration that was taken here from the Wheel of Time, Eye of the World, things of that nature. You can definitely tell that this is inspired by one of my favorite series of all time. However, I do think it will appeal to Malazan Book of the Fallen fans, just because it's got that kind of feel. I really enjoyed this. Essentially, let's talk about what's on the back. It says, 2 brothers, 1 prophecy, a world in peril. When Kael loses his chance to become part of the legendary Demon Hunters, joining the Bronze Guard mercenaries seems like the logical alternative. It is an opportunity to put his training to use, and more importantly, as the company is currently in the employ of Prince Aslander, I think I pronounced that correct, it will allow him to keep an eye on his youngest brother, Darian, who's determined to follow his dream and become a Soralis magic user. But the broken continent of Athame still bears the scars of a war between the Summoners some 3,000 years ago and an unexpected battle with a daemon. A remnant of that ancient war reveals the brothers' connection to a forbidden bloodline. Soon, they find themselves on the run from the prince, demonic hordes, and a prophecy that could break the world anew. Now, that blurb covers about the first, I'd say 20 to 30% of the book. And it kind of just gives you a good setup. A lot of the times the blurbs spoil like 70% of the book. This one is just more around the first 30%, where it gives you kind of a hint here. It does mention 2 of our main characters, which is Kael and Darian. They are brothers. And then we've also got 3 other characters who are part of our initial group. Now, we do pick up more characters as the story goes on. I'm not going to really touch on them because, again, there's a whole lot more to explore in this book. It is a 550-page tome, but it's really good. We've got Meg, who is kind of a spurned love interest of Darian. We've got Savani, who is kind of like the love interest to Kael, but like it's not going to really work out. And then we've also got Sim, who is kind of Kael's kind of mischievous merchant friend. And these individuals all live in the borderlands on the outskirts of this realm, on this continent. And they don't really, they constantly play like host to the like gentry and the princes and stuff like that, and they'll come over and they'll send out like, princes, and they'll kind of muck about searching around for ancient lore and stuff, because as it mentions, 3,000 years ago there was a struggle, and in that struggle basically the summoners were put down, and ever since then a summoner can be noticed by a specific mark on the back of their hand. So it's a common greeting to meet somebody with the back of your hand exposed. And what's really interesting there is they've been killing anybody born with this mark for thousands of years, and if you develop the mark later in life, you will of course be put to death as a summoner, because summoners could summon demons, which then just shattered this realm thousands of years ago. There is a deeper mystery here which isn't fully explored within the first book, kind of like Stormlight, where they kind of introduce that kind of prologue at the beginning of book 1. This also has something similar, but at the same time, like, I'm expecting that to be expounded upon as the books progress. I'm super, super excited about it. The magic here is mostly a soft magic system. In fact, I would almost go as far to say, as far as book 1 is concerned, we don't really have a lot of rules applied to the magic system. And that's I believe it's pronounced Asai. And it could be Asai, but I'm going to go with Asai here for this review. And essentially, it's just like I believe it's the light of the eye is how it's pronounced, in terms of like in world. They like the actual power itself is referred to as Asai, but then they refer to it as the light of the eye. Anyway, not really important. This is a very, very soft magic system, which I really, really liked. I'm finding that as a reader, I tend to lean more towards soft magic systems nowadays. I enjoy a good hard magic system. Don't get me wrong, I like both. But lately, I've been enjoying a lot of softer magic systems. So this was a huge delight for me. One of the things I will be critical about on this book, though, is because it is a 550-page book. I felt like we spent a little too much time, and this is where I think it will appeal to fans of Malazan. I feel like we spent a little too much time doing constant lore dumps, where like you would, see a building and you would get the lore of that building. You see a sigil and you get the lore of that sigil. Some ancient history is constantly being fed to you. So this is a very, very rich story that sometimes can be distracting from kind of connecting with the characters of this story. Because a lot of the times I'm just like, okay, yeah, I'm getting all this lore. We've got 3 or 4 POVs here. I'd like to be spending more time with them and connecting more with those characters. So that's really my only main critique here, is it's just so lore and world history heavy. This is very epic high fantasy. So if you were looking for a lighter read that has not a whole lot of in-world specific terms and things of that nature, this is probably one that you may want to give a pass on. If that is your jam, though, this is going to tick all of those boxes. Usually I fall right in the middle, so I gave this one overall around a 4 out of 5. But I've kind of been doing all of this talking about The Blood of the Spear, which, by the way, look at this cover. This is another Felix Ortiz cover, and if you are a cover buyer, oh my gosh, chef's kiss. Let's get in on that. Can I figure out which way my camera works? There we go. Yeah, look at that. That is fantastic. We got this bone dragon, and literally while reading this scene is in the book. I love when the scene is actually in the book. You know what? Let's talk about this. A lot of the times, we just get covers that don't have anything to do with the story that it is covering. But here, I could point to you the exact page that this cover is from. And that's awesome. I love that. We need more of this. Literally, I love a good just rip it straight from the story and throw some art on it. I love that. But basically, as the blurb says, Kaio was trying to become a demon hunter, which basically, from the war from 3,000 years ago, I know, quick shift in topic, whatever. From 3,000 years ago, they still have demon hunters who are cleaning up these summoned demon spawn out in the borderlands and out in the deadlands and things of that nature, where, they go out and they hunt these creatures. They're very specialized. They use specialized weapons. And we meet Keel while he is, or Kale? I don't know. Pronunciations are hard, guys. As he is taking his trials along with another one of his fellow Borderlanders. And we kind of get to see how that trial plays out. Now, as the blurb on the back says, of course, he does not pass this trial. And so he starts looking for alternatives, where then our story kicks into high gear. And the inciting incidents happen where he picks up a ancient weapon and gets marked as a forbidden bloodline owner. and he and his brother have to flee. And so that leads into just a whole bunch of almost episodic adventures within this book. I'd say there's about 4. You could break this down. If say we were doing a TV episode, you could do about 4 or 5 episodes out of this, of just different sections of the book with different incidents. And I really enjoy that kind of aspect. Guys, I feel like I've been talking a whole lot about this. This is a very strong, very good self-pub indie fantasy debut from Mark Timoney. I highly recommend this to fans of both The Wheel of Time and Steven Erikson's Malazan Book of the Fallen. Please check this out. I will have a link to the ebook or the Amazon website in the description box down below. I highly recommend you go out and pick this one up. Not enough people are reading this. That said, guys, that's all I've got here for you on The Blood of the Spear. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. Check the description box down below for the link to the Wizardly Duo Discord, as well as information about my Patreon and links to all of my social media. Until next time, guys, peace out. Stay magical. Bye. And as always, I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons.